Well, I think part of what's been a real challenge, and I find it to be an exciting challenge, but nonetheless, it is definitely a challenge with my work, is that it doesn't really have a category or a field. There's no easy language that I've found to talk about what it is that I do, especially not in a single word or like 3 words, right? Usually I end up having to say a sentence or two in order to even begin to sort of categorize the project. And I think that's actually going to be true for more and more people, given how many of the structures and organizations and categories we inherited no longer feel fit for purpose, right? You know, how we have so much, we kind of like there's a lionizing of entrepreneurship amongst we younger people just around like, oh, we have to disrupt every industry that we inherited because it's all broken, right? I feel like a lot of us are going to end up doing work and, you know, doing writing and other things that are the word intersectional is such a big word because so much of it is happening at the junctures and intersections of the categories that we used to take for granted. So that's a bit of a conceptual thing to say, but that's one thing that's just been an ongoing challenge as well as opportunity, is attempting to find that niche. Like, I feel a certain amount of compassion for my younger self when I was trying so hard to figure out what I was supposed to do with my life, because it's when I look at what I actually am doing, it's like, oh yeah, that's not just an easily identifiable thing. It's kind of at this fascinating intersection of a few different areas. So that's one piece, is just, you know, a kind of openness to this call for creativity that I think our generations are being asked into, is just there's newness to be discovered. And then I think the other thing is just that I've ended up in surprising partnerships, and so like there has been resistance to my work from, I suppose, around there's so much change happening, especially with religious institutions, that sometimes there's deep skepticism of some of these organizations that we're lifting up as promising. And that, you know, that tension always lives in the conversation about change, I think, right? Is what's being lost and what's being born. But it's been a surprise to me that so much of my work has ended up being about the conversation between ancient wisdom and emerging communities and innovation, right? This bridging between the ancient and the emergent has ended up being at the heart of the work. And I didn't see that coming necessarily. And so if you took a look at the How We Gather website, we have 5 reports that we've written. And I think it's the 4th one, called Faithful, we ended up co-writing with these 2 leaders of the United Methodist Church who were helping us to understand this question as it lives inside of big denominational bodies. This is the last thing I ever would have seen myself doing. Well, either that or like speaking on a panel with the founder of CrossFit. Both of those felt equally unlikely. And I'm now doing work where I'm being advised by a group of Catholic nuns. You know, it's like all this stuff that I couldn't have seen coming. So I don't think it's been characterized so much as resistance, but it's required a certain openness from me to actually embrace the possibility that there could be fruitful collaboration in these unlikely places. And I've had my own resistance to get over when it comes to either CrossFit or the Catholic Church, right?